Because I value your time, I wanted to jump on and let you know you will hear me instead of see me today, as I am in a new space that I am still situating and seeking to find the best place to do my content. Still, if today's content resonates with you, let me know in the comment section what stood out most to you. If you know that you are not connected, meaning you are not subscribed, but you would like to be notified, the best way to be notified is to subscribe so you can be aware of when I release new content. And if you know you have a sister in your life that has a habit of turning moments into mountains, share this with her, because over here we choose peace and clarity, not chaos and confusion. Now for today's content. Welcome, Queen. Today we're talking about something that most people think that they're good at, but very few actually practice it: mature communication. And when you stay with me until the end, I'm going to equip you with a framework that allows you to operate with calm authority. And it will make a big difference in you being able to show up with confidence versus being in a state of frustration and confusion. So here's the deal. A customer had a request, and this request has a clear cut process that's documented and straightforward. However, another staff member did not follow the process, and they told this customer to email a general email, and that email ended up coming to me. And the bigger issue with this is, when they told the customer to do that, they knew that they did not have access to that general email. So I get the email and it's blank, meaning there is nothing, I'm going to say it again, nothing in the body of the email. And the subject clearly states attention and then this employee's name. Here's the issue. The customer complains about the response they received back from me. And then the person in charge, meaning the supervisor, the leader, comes to me and says, it looks like we don't know what we're doing because the customer is being told different things by different people. But let's put a pin in this right here, because this confusion didn't happen because there was not a clear process. It happened because the process was ignored. And the solution that the person in charge offered was, don't explain the process anymore. Just forward along the customer's request. So, again, let's pause right here and think about this. Because if you don't reinforce a process that you have, you don't actually have that process. So, I want you to recognize and be clear of this. There are times when people are truly confused, and then there are times when people are avoiding doing what is necessary and mandated. They are looking for a shortcut. And then they will refuse at times to take accountability for how they communicate. And when we have people, whether we know them or they are external customers that we may be dealing with, or even people that we may work with, when we know them and they feel like taking accountability is a situation that creates conflict, that's a sign that they have gotten comfortable with avoiding responsibility. So, as I share with you, I'm going to give you a framework to equip you to be able to show up and handle communicating in a mature way. Because simple situations don't have to lead to complaints and avoidance behavior. So here it is. Whether you are talking to someone you know, someone that is in the workplace, just wherever you may be, you can use this framework. It is called PCC. So it's the PCC standard. Here it is. The first part of the framework. Pause. Before you react, if you're in person, because you may react, before you forward something, because you may receive something in an email, or before you press send, because you may get it in a text, or before you even complain, just pause and ask yourself this: have I made an assumption right now? Why? Because when we make assumptions, we can take things that we believe to be true and make them true, although they are not true. They are made up in our mind. And that can cause us to take what could be just a small hill and turn it into Mount Everest. Number 2, clarify. Most times, what we do not realize is that many misunderstandings are rooted and anchored in misunderstanding, meaning issues, problems, they often are rooted in misunderstanding. Somebody was not clear. So, what can you do? Ask a clarifying question. Who's responsible for this? What is the process for this? What do you want to happen as a result of communicating with this person? Because the thing about it is this: if we don't take the time to get clear and seek out being clear, then it can often lead to confusion. So, if you want to be clear, ask yourself, what can I do to make sure that I am clear? And one thing you can do is ask clarifying questions. Even one clarifying question can be a game changer. And the last part of the framework: communicate with maturity. Here's why. Because you need to be able to say what needs to be said in such a way that you are clear and you are letting your words speak and carry the conversation, and not your emotions carry the conversation. Because while our words do have power, if we use our words from an emotional space and emotional state, then oftentimes they can create more chaos and more confusion, because we are not communicating clearly. We are communicating emotionally charged. So, here's some things you can think through in this part of the framework. What should happen next? Who is the next person that I need to speak to? How could I follow up to be sure that I'm clear on the process? What exceptions do I need to make, if there is an exception that needs to be made at all? As you think through best practices and best ways to communicate with maturity, you will be able to think through and from a space that allows you to show up, not blaming, not being extra, not making complaints where you don't need to make a complaint. You can show up without the office politics, without the he said, she said, and just operate from a clear and mature place. So again, the 3-step framework that I'm leaving you with: pause, clarify, and communicate with maturity. It's an invitation. You don't have to use it, but it is impactful because it will allow you to take a breath, meaning pause before you complain. It will allow you to clarify before you make an assumption about something that you don't know to be true. And it will allow you to communicate with maturity so that when you speak, you can speak from a place and space of clarity and emotional intelligence. Because here's the deal: confusion is not always confusion. There are times that confusion is simply a refusal to take ownership of how we show up. However, when you master your communication, you equip yourself to stop reacting to life, and you take ownership to start leading your life. As always, I'm Coach Sam, telling you that 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you can change your life. So go ahead and do something life changing now.